Today, I'm bearing all and I'm sharing with you 10 questions that your real estate agent doesn't want you to ask. They're super important for you to know, so stay tuned, stick around, and find out what they are. Let's go. Hey friends, I'm Jamie Osby. I'm a realtor in Calgary, Alberta with EXP Realty. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and join me on a journey to fulfill your brain with all kinds of knowledge about real estate to empower you to be an informed and knowledgeable real estate owner. Stay tuned for the bloopers at the end so that you can watch this crazy girl make all kinds of fun of herself. Now, I don't want you to make the same mistake I did when I bought my first house and hire your sister's aunt's cousin's son as your real estate agent. Find 3, maybe more, people that you feel like you connect with and actually interview them. And then use these 10 questions to ask them the hard questions that they don't really want to answer. Question number 1 is who is going to pay your commission if the seller doesn't? Now, this is something super important for you to know. You're probably going to have to sign a buyer contract. And in that buyer contract, it's going to stipulate who is going to pay the commission if the seller is going through a discount brokerage or just saying flat out they're not willing to pay the fee. Or if they're willing to pay a fee that's not the same amount that your real estate agent would typically get paid. You need to make sure that you're not going to be stuck with a bill at the end of this. You need to truly understand what is about to happen and what the things it is that you are signing. Question number 2 is how many homes have they sold in the last 24 months? I mean, you may even want to ask them how many homes they've ever sold. It's not to say that you shouldn't use a new agent. New agents that are aware of their newness, that are using people to help guide them, they can be super awesome. I will never forget my first deal where my client said, "Hey, so Jamie, how many homes have you actually sold?" And I had to shame-face admit that this is my first deal. And I gotta tell you that from that point forward, it just went so much more smoothly. I was able to admit when I didn't know and I was gonna get back to her with the solid information, and it wasn't me trying to pretend I was something I was not. Question number 3 is, has your agent ever been reprimanded by their board or sued? That's an uncomfortable one to ask, but super important for you to know. Now, when our board actually finds somebody, it is public information, but it's not like publicized. So unless you know where to go and look, you probably don't know about it. And there are tons of people out there practicing that have fines, and you're gonna wanna know why and for what. Sometimes it's a very innocent mistake, but sometimes it's not good, and you wanna make sure you know who you're dealing with. Question number 4 is, have you ever had a firm sale collapse? Now, what this means is you're heading towards possession day and you've already waived conditions. Everybody thinks everything's gung-ho and go ahead, and something happens. The person lost the job and they just walk away from the deal. Technically, you could sue them and take them to court and use the contract. But I mean, the reality is you want to know if this realtor has ever dealt with something like that. Were they involved? Did they have any information? What happened? It doesn't happen very often, but you'd be wise to know if your realtor has been through something like that. Question number 5 is, what kind of education do you have? I mean, this is a common question that anybody uses when they hire somebody. Did you go to post-secondary? What did you take? It's totally reasonable for you to ask this question. All you require in Alberta is your high school diploma in order to get your real estate license. So it's up to you to decide how important having any kind of post-secondary education is. Question 6 is, are you a buying real estate agent or part of a team? Now, what does that even mean? So there's all kinds of different real estate agents out there, and there's huge, huge teams. Now, if you're working as a buying agent under a really large team, what that means is that there are people that are handling kind of all the other behind the scenes kind of activities, and you're an open the door kind of person. You can advise, you have your license, but you're certainly not the big name behind it all. Now, why is that important to you? Well, you want to make sure that, again, leading back to experience, that this person knows what they're doing and they're maybe not just opening doors. They actually have the real information that you're going to need as a consumer. Question 7 is, are you a full-time real estate agent? There are a lot of people trying this out, seeing how it goes, maybe working it as a side hustle. Now, these are the kind of situations you run in where they don't maybe necessarily know what they're doing. They're not treating this like a job. They might run into trouble. You just have to, again, know and understand where their motivation is as far as this industry and their career goes. Question number 8 is, have you ever worked in this neighborhood before? Now, this is something that is my least favorite question, because while I worked in so many of the communities in Calgary, there's definitely ones that I just haven't scratched the surface in. And it's hard. And I don't necessarily mean on the selling side. It's harder for buying agents when you don't know. You don't necessarily know the prices. You have to work a little bit harder to pull the stats and make sure the price that you're doing is the right one. You have to make sure you understand the traffic patterns in the area. What are the busy streets? What are the not busy streets? How close are you to the schools? Is there any kind of weirdness in that area? I mean, that's where an area agent can help so much. Question 9 is, have you ever been fired? Oh, that one sucks, because we probably all have been at some point if we've been in the industry long enough. Now, just ask them the parameters around it. It doesn't make them a bad real estate agent. Every realtor has probably been fired at some point. You just can't please everybody. We're all human. All that matters is that they're willing to share that story with you. And maybe they can offer, or you could ask, what did they learn from that experience? And how are they moving forward, or did they move forward beyond it? And the last question. All right, so the last question is asking your agent for a list of referrals. They should be able to provide one, no questions asked, or even a phone number if you want to talk to somebody. This is a job interview. You ask those difficult questions, get the information you need, and make sure that you're comfortable ultimately with the person that you've hired. All right, so I've spilt all the beans. I'm sure I haven't made any friends as far as real estate agent goes by asking you to ask them these difficult questions. By all means, ask me them. I want that. I encourage you to. I am all done today. Thank you for hanging with me. In the show notes below, I have included a freebie to a template of all these 10 questions so you can print it out and use it during your interview. I'd also love for you to leave me a comment about what is something that you are afraid to ask a realtor, or what is it that you fear about real estate agents. I know we have a terrible reputation, and I try to break those barriers down one at a time. And stay tuned. Question 7? That's not 7 fingers like I was. Going again. Question number 9. Why do I want to have all the 10? Question number 9. Can you hear my dryer going? Do, 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 do. Is it done yet? Question 9. There we go, I did it.